This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we're back with Christine with Senior Care Solutions. And in previous segments, we've talked about how her services are free, how she helps place people in care facilities, either doing pre-planning years in advance or last-minute situations, necessitated by hospital discharges. And but that's not all you do, because there's so much more around this final stage of life, this final move. And so obviously this is a real estate show, right? But a lot of times these people own homes, and they're moving into these care facilities out of their home. This is their final move, and that's where we would connect people with you, Christine. And those other services, one is a geriatric care manager.
Right.
And I had not heard of this term before, but it sounds incredibly helpful. You mind sharing a bit more about what that role is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I, personally have the title of a certified geriatric care manager, meaning I went through a master's level certificate training program on top of all my other education. But in my work at Senior Care Solutions, we primarily focus on placement and referrals and those types of things. But we often refer, one of the companies we work hand in hand with is a company called Elder Care Management, where their geriatric care managers really do hands-on care management, meaning, we have a scenario right now. I've been helping this family navigate a situation that's been really difficult with their sister. She didn't have any kids, so it's her two brothers who live out of state or out of the area. One's in Southern California, one's in Washington. And she had some misdiagnoses, and she has some cognitive issues. And they've been trying to manage it from out of state, and not real effectively, just because they're not here, not that they haven't tried. And so she ended up back in the hospital. I'm looking at and working on the proper placement for her because she was not placed appropriately out of the hospital the first time. And in the meantime, the two brothers have realized that it's just way too much for them to manage her care from a distance. Yeah. So we brought in our partners who are hands-on geriatric care managers. And I always kind of refer to them as like the son or daughter when there is no son or daughter. They can step in, take that person to doctor's appointments, visit them if they are in a care facility or still in their home, report back to the family, do the hands-on care that she needs, bring in concierge doctors if that's something they need, and just really be that hands-on person to make sure they're getting the care and the services that they need. So we worked hand in hand with that organization. It
just sounds like an invaluable service being provided, because sometimes, the kids can't move. They have jobs, they have their own thing going on. Sometimes the parents don't want to move. Mm-hmm. And then, so here they are in two different places, but care still needs to happen. Right. And that's where these geriatric care managers come in. They can check on mom or dad, make sure that, clothes are clean, house is tidy, medications are being taken, and take them to and from doctor's appointments. And
so much more. I enlisted one of them, who was a friend of mine, when we were on a vacation, and my mom ended up in the hospital. And so because I have that relationship, I was able to call them and say, can you go to the hospital and be an advocate for her? Because I couldn't be there and be present. So
even if you could be present, it sounds like these might be good people to have in your corner.
Absolutely. And especially, too, where we see it frequently is when, even if the family is local, but maybe there's family dynamics and they need an unbiased party who really drives the care of their loved one.
So like one person saying, no, mom's fine, the other person saying, no, mom needs help. Right. And then this is where the geriatric care manager comes into play and is like, unbiased, neutral third party. Hey, this is probably the best route.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you kind of, we talked about maybe talking about conservatorship. So absolutely, this is another area where, so sometimes we have clients who maybe don't have family, or they never did proper documents. They didn't have powers of attorney in place, and they suddenly lack capacity. They have a stroke or something has happened, dementia has progressed suddenly, and they no longer can make their own decisions. So oftentimes we will have to help refer to an elder law attorney for estate planning, or at that point, if there is no estate plan, a conservatorship. Which
so what is that? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's where it's a court determination that the person doesn't, well, it's the doctors and the courts determining that the person doesn't have the ability to make their own decisions, and somebody is appointed as their conservator. So it's somebody who's going to take responsibility and act on their behalf. That can be a family member, and sometimes it can be an impartial conservator, somebody that's a paid conservator, so who can act unbiased.
How long does it take to get the conservatorship?
That can take quite a while, and that's why we so encourage families to have an estate plan with powers of attorney, because once you get the court system involved, it's expensive. So we're hearing conservatorships can cost anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, depending if there's somebody contesting the conservatorship, and it can take months and months. And in the meantime, that person's left in limbo. Sometimes they can do immediate or emergency conservatorships pending a permanent conservatorship. But again, all of it is a legal process that can take time and money. So
with somebody, once that conservatorship has been granted, can that person then put like trusts and stuff in place for that individual, or is it just...
Yeah, and I'm not an elder law attorney, but it gets a little complicated. They can only do certain things within that conservatorship, but, it gets a little bit more detailed depending on the type of conservatorship that is put in place. So, but the other times that these geriatric care managers come into place is if it's a paid conservator who is acting on that person's behalf. They might hire a geriatric care manager to do the day-to-day overseeing of the care and work closely with the conservators. So that's another time that they're utilized as well.
Got it. So conservatorships, like, whoops, we didn't have a plan in place.
Right.
Reach out to Christine. She can help you get that set up or connect with somebody who can.
Yeah.
And then, but Medicare, it just seems like it's again, talking with other people, it's just a tangled web of like confusion. You get put in call trees, and then all of a sudden the call drops, and you got to start all over again. Can you help people navigate that as well, or can you recommend people?
Yeah, we can definitely recommend folks who are Medicare specialists who help people, especially during this time of year where there's open enrollment. They can kind of look at, who are your doctors, what are the prescriptions you're on, and kind of recommend some Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plans, or is a supplement versus an Advantage plan better for your loved one? What are the different costs? So we definitely can connect folks with that. Also, sometimes it's just as simple as there's a organization called HICAP. It's a state organization, health insurance advocacy program that they can also call, but a lot of times working with a Medicare specialist who's connected with all the different health plans.
Do you happen to know what that would cost if somebody wanted to hire a medical from Medicare?
So typically the Medicare specialists who help determine plans are paid for by the health plans. So, depending on what health plan you sign up for, they may get some kind of reimbursement that route. So they're typically free. Okay.
So again, we're trying to make this as affordable as possible, because sometimes that if there's a dollar sign in front of a next step, people, delay that next step.
Absolutely.
And then the dollar signs grow.
Right.
The bill always comes due, and the longer you take to pay that bill, the more interest is accruing. So,
absolutely.
So geriatric care managers for people who are out of state, or maybe they moved to Texas, and the moms and dad are still here. They can get that geriatric care manager to help provide assistance. Yep. You can connect them with people who can set up trusts, conservatorships, powers of attorney, things like that.
Absolutely.
And then also Medicare specialists. Is there anything, like if somebody is on the fence and they're not sure, should I reach out to Christine? Maybe should I not reach out to Christine? Like, what would you tell that person?
If you're hesitant, just reach out, and if, more than likely, if we can't provide the services, then we can help you find the right person to call. So, we are a free service. We're more than willing to chat with folks and try to determine what their needs are and connect them with the right resources. So.
Got it. So when in doubt, just call Christine.
Just call somebody in our office if I'm not available. So.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was an absolute pleasure. I did not cry, so that was a win.
Yeah.
And your information was invaluable.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Look forward to having you on next time.
All right. Thank you.
Thinking about selling your home? Want to put it on the market, but you don't want to go through all of that staging, open houses, those much needed repairs? There's an easy and simple way to do it. Just reach out to Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty. Here's what'll happen. They'll get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Sound too good to be true? They've been doing it for a lot of our listeners, and they can do it for you. All you got to do is Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty today and get more for your home.